So it's the winter, and in the winter, things get cold, things get hard, people get frustrated. Some people even get, I don't want to use the word depressed, but they definitely feel down when it's dark outside and you don't have that warm, sunny vitamin D that you get every day. Currently, the markets have been choppy. You saw some of that in the last day with a nice pullback, but still seeing some sunniness over here in the markets as we do see some green in the AI markets. You got ANET doing well. Arista, you got Big Bear AI is green. Serve Robotics is green. Rich Tech was up to 6% at market open. Oracle was up. Taiwan Semiconductor is doing well. Apple and Google and Tesla all are in the green this morning. And when we're watching Oracle, for example, we were just seeing this dip down, and we actually just traded them last week for a short-term trade. So in our daily live trading session this morning, if you guys ever want to tune on into those daily live trading, it's going to be in the second link below. And in this trade, nothing's really moved much. We're up about $50 right now, and it was a short-term look that we just entered into a few moments ago. Again, $56 profit. There's a couple things, in the market where it's actually a time where things are volatile, and this is a pattern on Oracle, but this is also a pattern on most tech stocks, even in the data center markets, where recently over the last week or few days, you've seen a downtrend, right? A lowering resistance, a lowering support level, and you see this downtrend happening over the last few weeks. You can kind of see, this play out in the market. And in that trend, it almost looks like we're at a resistance, and we are going to see it continue to hold below that moving average, that green line, and continue to trend downward as it gets rejected here. Now, that may very well be the case. In fact, we could see Oracle get rejected. Most stocks, they started green this morning and then start to sell off more, and we see an extended pullback in the markets. And maybe even Oracle sells down as low as, at least on ORCX, about $12.50. I think over on Oracle, that's somewhere around 165 maybe. But when you're looking at this move, we still entered, even though we could see it get rejected and continue this overall downtrend. We still bought right here because we're anticipating what could be a breakout. So even though you see Oracle get that downward pressure, they recently had some good contracts come in, including the acquisition of TikTok. They are one of the main drivers in the AI market that are providing software for some of the top companies in the world. And they also are heavily involved in the data center and the energy build-outs that are taking place for the AI boom. And so ORCX, it's been a little bit of a winter over the last few days. We even saw them really pull back on earnings, despite having fairly good earnings. And this morning, we see them potentially get rejected after a spike pre-market. So pre-market opened 6:15, then 6:30 a.m. It was still dark outside. We were trading live this morning, and we had some technical difficulties, as you guys could tell. We got a new setup, which is great. We got some good systems coming that are going to be a lot easier for everyone to digest investing information. And then you got the support level. This is a previous resistance on ORCX around 1391. So while we're seeing a potential rejection, we do see a higher high here where we're getting this trend and potentially holding enough momentum to break out and continue the overall uptrend. And in this case, you got the previous resistance at about $13.90. So we set our stop at $13.87. We saw them kind of double bottom there this morning, meaning they just kind of bounced down to $13.87, then bounced down once again. And while they are getting rejected, we're using that previous resistance that is acting as a support as kind of our risk management. So right now, pretty small position, about 420 shares, a couple $1,000 here, maybe $5,000, something like that, $6,000. And you've got the stop loss set that is just about 1% lower than their current price. So could see some volatility, could even see that stop get hit. It's quite possible that happens today. However, the risk management I like, because we're looking at a breakout that is something like this, kind of a a 10 to 20% breakout from these levels. So something like this, a breakout into these ranges would be 10% gain up to 1550, and then up to here would be about a 36% increase. So once again, kind of risking around 1% for potentially around 15 to 20%. So considering all of the movement in the data center stocks and everything else we're going to be watching there as well today, just want to give you guys a quick update on the position. And we were using Prophecy app. In fact, Prophecy app was even saying that we would see some pullbacks this morning. We did see the pullbacks from about 1423 down to 1412. We entered at 1410. Okay, so we did see that play out. Then you've got that $14 support level, and if you look at the next day, it's looking green up to 1450. But if you look at the next week, you got some volatility. So even the AI is anticipating that we see it hold this kind of near-term downtrend that we were just pointing out, the near-term downtrend, and that we don't see this thing continue to break out. So I am going against even the AI. Everything in the technicals right now would point to this resistance here at $16 or $14.16 being kind of where we entered, but having a resistance here potentially selling down to $12 or $13, which is pretty high risk, but that's why we got our stops set. Now, if you've ever wanted to invest in data center stocks or companies like Oracle in the AI and tech center space, you can tune on into our daily live trading sessions, get technical and fundamental analysis, and learn with me side by side as we're there every day at market open. Get access to our entries and our exits inside of StockMate. Would love to see you there. It's going to be the second link in the description down below to tune on in. If I earned your thumbs up, hit the like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.